Welcome to another YouTube video, and in this recording we are exploring the principles of compounding gels, pharmaceutical gels, and we also have an expression called jellies. But jellies you learn from this video is a specific reference. Let's get started. My three references are the Basic Principles and Application to Pharmacy Practice, Ansell's Pharmaceutical Dosage Forms and Drug Delivery Systems, and Cooper & Gunn's Dispensing for Pharmaceutical Students. Now, to really appreciate jellies, let's recap. If you watch my other YouTube videos, you'd have seen me introducing ointments. And of course, pastes are an extension of ointment dosage form, with the only distinction being a paste typically has a high proportion of solids, powders, which is usually around 25%. Now in this recording, we're going to recap about semi-solids because there are some significant things I want for you to appreciate before we move on to gels. Of course, another dosage form are creams, but we will approach that subtopic in another YouTube video. Now, semi-solid preparations represent dosage forms that have properties in between solid and liquid dosage forms. They possess characteristics that addresses their flow properties. We talk about the rheological properties, deformation of solid and the flow of liquids, such that they can be easily applied to biological membranes or the skin, and they are retained to the site where they were applied and can stay there for a long period of time. Now, semi-solid preparations, as in the case of compounding products, but dosage forms when we talk about manufactured products. Semi-solid preparations, when compounded, or dosage forms when manufactured, may contain one or more active ingredients that are suspended or dissolved in the inclusion of complexes or in solubilized state. They are applied topically to the skin, on the surface of the eye, nasally, vaginally, rectally, and are used for local and/or systemic effects. Now, we are going to move to jellies because the rheological properties, is of interest for this dosage form. Gels are semi-solid systems in which the liquid phase is constrained in a three-dimensional structure. There's a polymer sometimes involved, having a high degree of physical or chemical cross-linking. Gels are also called jellies, and we'll look at this in another slide. They're semi-solids consisting of dispersions of small or large inorganic particles or large organic molecules enclosed in an interpenetrated and are interpenetrated by a liquid. Now, gels are semi-rigid, right? They're not really liquidy and they're not really solids. They're semi-rigid, in which the movement of the dispersing medium is restricted by the interlacing of that network that forms the gel structure. The gel may consist of twisted matted strands of wounded together strong types van der Waals forces that form crystal or amorphous kind structures throughout the systems, as is seen with Tratcan and carboxymethyl cellulose jellies. Now, jellies are aqueous, water-based colloidal suspensions, right? And they are hydrated and often have an insoluble medicine dispersed within it. They are thin, so they may be thin, they may be translucent, they are non-greasy, and are meant for external application. Of course, jellies can be medicated, only serve for lubrication, or in some miscellaneous cases where they are used as a form of supporting contraception, where they're used as to carry spermicidal agents. used along with diaphragms. Now, gels, some systems are clear as water, as we have mentioned before, and some of these gels may be turbid, right, where the ingredients are not molecularly dissolved or dispersed, they're not really soluble, and the ingredients themselves may form aggregates which disperse light, looking cloudy. Now, jellies is a specific terminology. Jellies are a class of gels in which the structure coherent matrix contains high proportion of liquid, typically water. They are usually formed by adding a thickening agent such as tragacanth or CMC, and this is added to an aqueous solution, normally of a drug substance. Now, in the next recording where we're going to talk about the compounding of gels, we're going to be focusing on water-based jellies. In this part of the recording, we're going to look at the formulation principles. Jellies are made of gelling agents, sometimes as low as 0.5 up to 2%, but some jellies can go up to even 15% in terms of the gelling agent. The jellies may have a single phase system in which the macromolecules are distributed such that there's no apparent boundaries between them and the liquid, right? Whereas you also have jellies which are like magma or milk, and these gels consist of floccules of small distinct particles and are termed two-phase system, but that's not what we're going to focus on because that's not in the scope of the pharmaceutics labs. Now, what are some things to consider? Jellies may swell, the gelling agents may swell, and there are different types of jelly that you need to appreciate, and the method of making them may be slightly different, and is also based on how the gelling agent is incorporated. Swelling of the gelling agents or the jellies is the taking up of liquid by the gel to increase in volume, but this can be influenced by pH or the presence of electrolytes. There are four typical classes of jellies, which includes inorganic, organic, hydrogels, or organogels. In this part of the recording, we are going to look at a brief summary of the four types of jellies that you may encounter in the pharmaceutical industry. The inorganic jellies are usually the two-phase system, and these include like your bentonite magma or aluminum hydroxide gel. I think you can think of the antacid milk of magnesia. My mind is going back to that product when we're talking about aluminum and two-phase and jellies. But let's look at organic. Organic jellies are the single phase, which includes carbapol and tragacanth. Hydrogels are organic hydrogels made with pectin, tragacanth jelly. You have natural and synthetic gums like methyl cellulose, sodium carboxymethyl cellulose, and pluronic. And you also have inorganic hydrogels. And I'm seeing here that you have bentonite at 10 to 25%, V-gum, and silica. Organogels are the last categories, and these includes hydrocarbon type, petrolatum, mineral oil, polyethylene glycol, like plastibase, the animal and vegetable fats like lard and cocoa butter, soap-based greases, and I'm seeing here aluminum stearate with heavy mineral oil gel. You also have hydrophilic organogels made with carbowax like your polyethylene glycol. And I'm seeing some other categories listed as polar and non-anionic in the category of organogels. But the biggest thing that differentiates the different types of gel and the procedure for compounding, which we'll look at in the next video, are the gelling agents. So we're going to wrap up this video by looking at the gelling agents and the preservatives that are essential when you're thinking of formulating jellies. Let's go. Gelling agents can include alginic acid, sodium alginate, bentonite, tragacanth, gelatin, carboxymethyl cellulose, methyl cellulose, carbomer, pectin, and we have starch, povidone, and of course we have a long list of preservatives that will complement the different types of gelling agents. To keep this recording short, under 15 minutes, we're going to end this recording here where I've introduced you to jellies. You've been introduced to jellies, the types of jellies that are available in the pharmaceutical industries, and the formulation principles, which includes your gelling agent and preservative. In the next recording, in the playlist, we're going to look closer at the gelling agents and the preservative system. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more content like these. Thank you.